The Sandigan Bayan junks the forfeiture cases filed against late former Chief Justice Renato Corona in relation to his assets that were not declared in his statements of assets, liabilities, and net worth. Zakarian Sarao has the full report live. Zach?
Yes, Bay, Sandigan Bayan's Second Division dismissed the forfeiture cases filed against former Chief Justice Renato Corona over his assets that were not declared in his statements of liabilities, statements of assets, liabilities, and net worth, or SALN. Corona has been dead for over 6 years after suffering from a heart attack on April 29, 2016. In a decision dated November 3, Sandigan Bayan said the allegations against Corona were, quote unquote, misplaced, declaring that the questioned assets of the ex-Chief Justice cannot be tagged as unexplained wealth as it were merely not mentioned in his SALN. It can be recalled that in December 2011, Corona was impeached for failing to indicate 180 million pesos worth of his assets in his SALN. This resulted in the Senate acting as an impeachment court to convict Corona in May 2012. After his impeachment, the Bureau of Internal Revenue then filed a tax evasion case against the late Chief Justice as well as his family. His impeachment also even prompted several petitioners to ask the Office of the Ombudsman, then under former Supreme Court Associate Justice Conchita Carpio Morales, to investigate the alleged ill-gotten wealth amounting to more than 130.5 million pesos. However, Sandigan Bayan noted that while Corona may have been liable for negligence as he failed to properly indicate his assets in his SALN, these assets cannot be labeled as unexplained wealth because the former Chief Justice, his wife, and children have legally accumulated wealth over years of working. The court explained that at most, Chief Justice Corona may have been held guilty of simple negligence. However, it was preempted by his death. Sandigan Bayans also exonerated Corona from accusations that the value of the properties he mentioned in his SALN was devalued, saying that the acquisition costs of the properties could always be checked with other documents. Sandigan Bayan likewise noted that assessing the proper value of such properties may not be accurate, which means government officials like Corona could have mistakenly placed original values but not the adjusted figures. According to the Sandigan Bayan, Corona did not enter the Supreme Court as a pauper or a poor person, noting that he and his wife obtained several assets as they worked for high-profile jobs even before taking office. Furthermore, the court also considered the admission that the couple have been putting their money on foreign currency accounts that are much stronger than the Philippine peso and therefore could have a higher interest rate over the years. It even pointed out the Corona couple had been working and saving since the 1960s. With this ruling, the forfeiture cases against Corona's heirs have been similarly dismissed, while the writ of preliminary attachment issued last January 2015 has also been lifted. Back to you.
Zach, can you give us a brief rundown of the case again of former Chief Justice Renato Corona? And you said that he has been dead for over 6 years. So what could this decision mean for him and his family?
Yes, Bay. The forfeiture cases filed against Corona and his families, which was then dismissed by the anti-graft court, was rooted in the allegations of unexplained wealth against Corona for failing to indicate 180 million pesos worth of his assets in his SALN. These said allegations then led to Corona's impeachment in May 2012. More than 10 years later and over 6 years after his death, Sandigan Bayan's Second Division then dismissed these cases, saying that these assets cannot be labeled as unexplained wealth simply because, according to the anti-graft court, Corona and his family have legally accumulated this wealth over years of working. In terms of how it will now affect his family, as stated by the Sandigan Bayan's Second Division in its decision, the said cases filed not just against Corona, but his wife and his heirs have now officially been lifted. With this, all involved or all those subject to the said allegations have been exonerated.
That's Zakarian Sarao reporting live.